Listen up, troops. This is your weapon. Nomenclature Mike 16. It's a 5.56 millimeter semi and full automatic, magazine-fed, gas-operated, shoulder-fired infantry weapon. You will learn to love it, but first, you will learn to respect it. First file by the numbers. Proceed downrange, taking evasive action on the double. Move it out. 1.
I don't know about this, Vance. These recruits are too green. They've only been in training here for a week.
Your wife's right, Commander Wingfield. Using live ammo at this stage is too dangerous.
You're out of line, Carruthers. And Sherry, when I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. I'm not here to wet nurse a gaggle of panty wastes. 2.
I think the bone is shattered. He needs hospital treatment.
No, he knew the risks when he joined us. He'll have to make do with a field dressing and some aspirin. I'd been entrusted with the near impossible task of teaching these people how to survive. But first, they'll have to learn to be hard. As hard as me.
Stop the projector. Let's have some lights in here. Quiet down, Joes. Pay attention. The footage you've just seen was shot by the FBI during a routine covert surveillance. General Flagg and the Pentagon brass got wind that Commander Wingfield and his self-styled Strike First paramilitary freaks are secretly funded by international terrorists, possibly Cobra. That makes them our responsibility.
They sound like a bunch of overgrown Boy Scouts playing soldier.
Hawk, you want us to go in, take away their guns, and spank them?
Don't underestimate these jokers. Their base in Montana was built to withstand a full frontal assault. And if Cobra's supplying them, they're bound to have some impressive weaponry. Our job is to go in undercover and ascertain the degree of Cobra involvement.
Who's gonna be the decoy for this one?
That's your specialty, Ranger. Besides, you enjoy camping out in the woods with furry animals.
For this mission, we'll use a 2-man insertion team with a 3rd man on the outside. Snake Eyes will be the backup man. I'll be number 1 man on the insertion team, and Grunt will be number 2.
Have fun with the furry animals, Grunt.
Nuts!
Let's go. I want your gear packed and ready to go in 10 minutes. Get
the lad out. I want you unpacked and in formation on the parade grounds in 10 minutes. Commander Wingfield will address the new recruits at 1500 hours on the button.
Hey, I already went through this in basic training.
You're going through it again.
Hawk, some of the new recruits brought their wives and kids with them.
Wingfield apparently encourages it. When you have power over a man's family, you have power over the man.
Fellow survivors, you have taken the first important step towards ensuring the continued existence of your families. I congratulate you. You may have felt that this first step, the relocation and the cutting of old ties, was difficult. Well, I assure you, the second step, your training, will be far more difficult. It must be, to fully prepare you for that most horrible third step, the grim reality of survival after the total collapse of civilization. Your training commences promptly at 0600 hours tomorrow. Captain Carruthers will now march you over to the quartermaster's shed for field gear and uniform issue.
Do you see that big building with the ventilators on the roof?
That must be the ammo dump or armory. Big fans like that are used to vent off fumes from high explosives. The entire camp is enclosed by hurricane fencing topped with number 3 barbed wire. There's a reinforced guard tower at every corner, another one at the main gate, and one more overlooking the airstrip. Did you pace off the intervals between the floodlight masts?
One every 50 yards, all around the perimeter.
Good. We'll run a recon tomorrow night. Now let's sack out.
Move it out! Move it out! I only want to see both heels and elbows. Keep moving. Stop while exposed like that in a firefight, and you're a dead man. Get your face down in that mud, trooper. Mud washes off. Bullet holes don't. Don't look down. Don't look back. And don't stop to help your buddy if he slips and falls. His floundering will draw enemy fire and give the patrol time to get away. Harder. Attack like you mean it.
Take it easy, Grunt. You don't want to look too good at this.
Sorry, Hawk. I'll try to do worse.
Keep up the pace. 5 more laps around the perimeter wire before breakfast.
We'll check out the armory at 2300 hours tonight. Whew, these other guys are really out of shape.
Yeah. We're holding back as much as we can without being obvious, and we're still leading the pack.
Snake Eyes, recon report, 0645 hours. Observed Hawk and Grunt pretending to be clumsy and slow in a most unconvincing manner. Perimeter too well guarded for daylight penetration. Weakest link in defense is portion of fence directly below flood lamp masts. 4 aircraft on landing strip, 3 F-86 Sabre jet fighters, and 1 fighter apparently undergoing radio repairs. 1 B-29 Super Fortress heavy bomber, primitive, but is well within nuclear delivery capacity. Must infiltrate and confirm nuclear capability. Will penetrate tonight at 2230 hours. Route of entry will be at weakest point. Will coordinate wire cutting with highest levels of nocturnal insect noise. Must memorize location of entryway to facilitate withdrawal. Will count fence posts between lights. Main objective, location of nuclear device or devices, if any.
So why is Wingfield calling a meeting so late at night?
Must be important. He only invited the top cadre.
Unless circumstances yield more profitable intelligence.
All clear, Grunt. Let's go.
Right behind you, Hawk. We'll take the long way to the armory. It's got the most cover.
Hey, what's going on at the HQ building? Some kind of meeting. Officers and top honchos only. It's gotta be big.
Should we?
No. We continue on to the armory. Snake Eyes has got this covered.
At ease! Please be seated, gentlemen. I'll get right to the point. We have come to an impasse, gentlemen. Our activities here have attracted the attention of various government agencies, all of whom consider us to be an embarrassment. Our very will to survive and all our efforts to that end have roused the ire of the powers that be. They're spying on us even now, conspiring to stamp us out. We must abandon all pretense of defense, gentlemen. We must launch our offensive.
Offensive?
Impossible!
Not impossible, gentlemen. The technicians from Cobra, who installed a silent alarm system that guards our armory, have also provided us with 2 nuclear warheads. 1 warhead will be flown at treetop level in the B-29 to Vladivostok in Russia. Once the bomb is detonated on Russian soil, the Russians will retaliate immediately. The United States will launch its counterattack as soon as it detects the Russian first wave in flight. In effect, World War III will have started. After the swine have wiped each other out, we shall emerge from our well-stocked, fortified shelters beneath this compound to rebuild a new world in our image. The second warhead is buried under our camp, in a location known only to Carruthers, my wife, and me. I can arm and set the detonator timer by remote control. Once set, Only I can disarm it. If our bombing attempt on Vladivostok fails, we are utterly doomed. Both governments will track us to the ends of the earth. However, if we detonate the bomb here in Montana, the United States will have to assume that the Russians have opted for a retaliatory strike. And, although we will perish in the first blast, the scum that persecute us shall join us in the blasts that follow.
You suppose they've got anything in there besides some surplus M16s and a few boxes of grenades?
With Cobra supplying them, they've got to have some heavy hardware. Maybe some 50 cal, MGs, a few dozen M60s, mortars. Holy Hannah!
They must have had a sale on tanks at the Cobra job lot.
It's no bargain basement armor. Those are T-60s. It's state-of-the-art in tank technology. I'll lay you 2 to 1 that those babies rolled off the assembly line of the People's Heavy Farm Machinery Factory in East Leningrad.
You think the Russians are behind this, Hawk?
No way. Ivan wouldn't give these dolls to their best buddies. This deal smells like Cobra all the way.
Full alert! Something's triggered the silent alarm at the armory. Cadre leaders, have your troops fall out silently and don't issue weapons. Our perimeter is too secure for this to be anything but an inside job. We don't want to arm anybody we can't trust. Surround the armory. Secure all exits and windows. First platoon, in through the door. And remember, I want prisoners in condition to answer questions.
Hear that, Grunt?
Yeah, they're gonna go light on us.
Think maybe we ought to pull our punches too?
Nah. There's too many of them. No room to swing.
And clear the area, and let's get down to some serious knuckle dusting.
You got it, Hawk.
Commander Wingfield, the intruders put a dozen of our men out of commission, but we have finally subdued them.
Do you want to interrogate them now?
That would be fruitless. These specimens are obviously very hard. The opposition has seen fit to send in their best. Take them out to the hole and dispose of them. This drastically alters the situation. I'm forced to move up our schedule considerably. Sherry, actuate Plan Alpha. Carruthers, suit up and report to the airfield.
G.I. Joe Command Center reading you loud and clear, Snake Eyes. Things must be pretty bad there if you're the one that's calling for help.
Awfully nice of them to let us live until sunrise.
It's a military tradition, Grunt. Like the blindfold and the last cigarette.
That's enough from you two. Walk to the edge of the hole and don't turn around.
Well, so much for tradition. That's one tradition I like. The last-minute rescue.
Snake Eyes could have saved us at any time. He just wanted to see us sweat. Hey, the bomber's taking off.
According to Snake Eyes, that thing's carrying a nuclear warhead, and it's on a bombing run to Russia.
I'm going to the airfield to see what I can do about chasing down that bomber. You and Snake Eyes get back to the armory and keep an eye on Wingfield.
Good hunting, Hawk. Looks pretty quiet. Always a bad sign. I'll go out and draw their fire. You circle round back and take a quick look-see. Give me 2 quick signal shots, and I'll lay down cover fire for your withdrawal. 3 shots will be the signal hold fire. Oh, that was close. That's what I get for talking while sneaking.
He's behind that rock! Machine gunners, lay down a field of fire!
Hurry up, Snake Eyes! This rock's not gonna last much longer. Not with this pounding.
Sherry, Plan Alpha is now in effect. You will prepare to arm the women and children at the first sign of a full assault.
The children too, Vance? Plan Alpha was purely theoretical.
In this outfit, Everyone fights.
3 shots? Why does Snake Eyes want me to hold my fire?
This'll hurt you a lot more than it does me. Tanks are full and the guns are loaded. Now if I can only remember how to fly one of these things.
Someone's starting up the jack that was redlined for radio repairs.
Alert, Wingfield. He's cutting away.
Break! This is G.I. Joe Team Leader Hawk, requesting break on this frequency for emergency transmission. Break! Rats, the radio's stone cold dead. There's no way to get help or signal that bomber to turn back. Now, B-29 doesn't have the range to make it to Moscow. The nearest strategic target is Vladivostok.
Commander Wingfield, this is Carruthers. Have just passed Vancouver and am on course for primary target.
Proceed as directed, but be prepared to take evasive action. The opposition have commandeered one of our aircraft. We believe they are aware of your destination.
Snake Eyes, you made it back. I'm sorta glad that nuclear warhead is on a fast plane traveling away from me, and not sitting in Montana with us and... Uh-oh. I don't like that look he just flashed me. What does it mean?
This is too much like a duck shoot. I can't even radio Carruthers to give him a chance to turn back. All I can do is bracket my shots on the fuel tanks and engines, and give him the option to bail out. If he wants it. Jump, Carruthers! Jump.
The transmission line to our bomber just went dead. They've shot down Carruthers. We're finished.
Vance, you're not going to...
Shut up, Sherry. I know what I'm doing. I'm activating the remote timer. We shall see this through to the end with honor and dignity befitting.
Wingfield, you're crazy. I don't know what you're babbling about, but I'm taking my kid and walking out of this madhouse.
No, I'll brook no desertions at our greatest hour.
Let's go, Terry.
Fool! You're undermining the integrity of our final gesture. 10 minutes from now, nothing will matter anymore. I have no reason not to shoot you.
10 minutes? What are you talking about?
Trust me, in 10 minutes, everything will be resolved. Sherry, back me up.
Don't worry, Vance. I know what to do.
There it is, Ranger. We'll touch down right in front of the main door.
There's Grunt and Snake Eyes. They'll take the point with me.
You're calling it, Ranger.
Move it out, Joe. We going in. Everyone freeze. Drop your weapons and assume the position. Now. Hawk, where were you? We thought...
Just burned out a jet engine getting back here, Ranger. Drop the gun, Mrs. Wingfield. It's all over.
You don't know how right you are.
What do you mean?
Before you arrived, my husband activated a 10-minute timer on a nuclear warhead buried under those ammo cases. He was the only one who knew how to deactivate it. It's impossible.
Lady, that word doesn't exist where we come from. Just show us where that bomb is buried.
Here! At the bottom of this shaft.
Ranger, tell Zap to bring his demolitions kit up here.
This control on the remote box will raise the warhead to our level.
Zap, this is your show now. You've got exactly 5 minutes.
This is a standard Type 7 warhead with a simple spoke and hub detonator. Give me a hand with the nose cover, Snake Eyes. The hub contains U-235 and is held in position by 4 spring-loaded spokes. If it drops, we get critical mass and one mucho big bang. Grunt, it's your job to hold onto that hub and keep it from dropping while I torch through the spokes. You got that, amigo?
I got it, Zap.
I'm through the first spoke already, Grunt. Here goes number 2, 3, 4...
It's slipping, Zap.
You can do it, Grunt. You've got to do it, man.
What's in this thing? How can such a little gizmo be so heavy?
All that's inside is a chip of U-235 the size of a chiclet. The rest of it is solid lead with molybdenum chrome alloy steel bonded with...
Lighten up on the science lecture, Zap. My man Grunt about to save the world from glowing in the dark.
I ain't saving nothing unless you two cut me some slack and give me enough elbow room to lift this detonator away.
Way to go, champ.
Good work, Grunt. The tech boys from Aberdeen checked out the warhead. They told me that its shielding was intact. You don't have to worry about decontamination or radiation poisoning.
That's a relief, Hawk.
The techs also told me that the timer on the detonator was running fast. It only had 3 seconds left to go when you lifted it clear.
Sheesh. I'll bet those locals are sure glad we were on the job.
Well, Clem, looks like they moving in some real soldier boys up to the old Wingfield place.
Yep. Liquor prices are gonna go up, and the sheriff will be setting a speed trap again.
Best be keeping a close eye on your women folk, too.